Hi, welcome to Paint Well. We try and post every other week, but we were recently flooded out of our home by Hurricane Ida, so our attention has been on repairs rather than painting. We're both very frustrated not being able to paint, and we hope to get back to making our videos as soon as we can. In between drywalling and spackling, I saw an article on a Vermeer restoration, so I thought I'd take some time and share my thoughts. The Gemäldegalerie Alte Meister in Dresden, Germany recently revealed their new restoration of Johannes Vermeer's girl reading Letter at an Open Window. An x-ray in the 70s revealed a picture of a cupid on the back wall of the painting. Since that discovery, it was assumed that Vermeer himself had covered the cupid. Vermeer is well known to alter his compositions. In this painting alone, you can see that the foreground curtain was added to cover a still life. Through their analysis of the layers of paint, dust, and varnish, the restoration team decided that the paint covering the cupid was not by Vermeer after all, but was added sometime after his death. They removed the paint over the cupid and have recently revealed their restored Vermeer as part of a new exhibition called Johannes Vermeer on Reflection, running from September 10, 2021 to January 2, 2022. I don't like it. I'm not going to say it was a mistake to uncover the cupid, but I do contend that the painting is better with the cupid covered. I am not someone who believes that just because an artist has name recognition, they are a perfect entity whose every decision is nigh divine. I really like Vermeer, he's one of my favorite painters, but that doesn't mean he wasn't heavy-handed with his allegories. I mean, look at this thing. With the cupid, Vermeer is very plainly saying that this young woman is reading a love letter. My 2020 sensibility prefers the painting with more ambiguity. Additionally, I would say that the composition is better without the cupid. With the cupid, the image is heavy and cluttered. With the bare back wall, the composition is lighter and calmer. The empty wall gives your eye a moment to reflect, while the cupid keeps it busy. Today, we think it's sacrilege to alter a painter's work. Instead, we spend millions of euro and years of careful time to restore works to their original condition. So why would someone in the past change a painting? And why are museums today working so hard to undo those changes? First off, folks in the past were not so concerned about artistic expression or integrity. Back in the day, if you owned a work, you could do what you liked. There's the famous case of the Underpants Man, who was hired to paint cloth over the genitals in Michelangelo's The Last Judgment. Then there are the Victorians, whose attitude towards art preservation was just to repaint it. My hunch with this Vermeer is that someone along the way felt this painting would sell better without the cupid, so they carefully erased it. While I personally would never alter another painter's work, I do prefer the painting without the cupid, so I get their point. Today's attitude is different. The keywords today are preservation and restoration. I think there are a lot of reasons for this change in attitude. One is the movement of works of art from private collections to public. With that move came the notion that great works of art belong to the world and should be preserved. Additionally, the 20th century was consumed by the notion of the artist's genius, that the artist is not a craftsman, but a special person whose intent should be respected and preserved. Also, we now have the technology to analyze works of art to better determine when alterations were made. And lastly, we have techniques to remove layers of dust, dirt, varnish, and paint, thereby preserving and restoring the work to what we think the artist intended. Of course, modern restoration can go wrong too, as you can see. Though this brings up an interesting point. Would anyone have ever seen these works if they weren't so horribly abused? The answer is no. Few people, if any, would have ever seen these works of art. They only came to the attention of the public after the botched restoration. And to be blunt, that, I think, is the actual answer to why this work of Vermeer's was restored. It is hard to get eyes on paintings. Art museums do not bring in the same crowds as movies, concerts, or sporting events. There are only a few artists' names that the general public knows. Vermeer is one of them. But there are only about 34 Vermeers in the world, and he isn't likely to paint anymore. So a museum with a new restoration of a Vermeer that reveals the artist's original intent and alters the work so that it is like a different painting is sure to draw crowds. Is that cynical? Yes. Is art conservation extremely expensive? Yes. Will an exhibition of a full third of a world-famous painter's work bring in the euros, helping to fund the preservation of works throughout a museum, whether they're by an artist you've heard of or not? Yes. Is money the only reason conservators chose to uncover the Cupid? No. Conservators work very hard to preserve art and not destroy it. I have great respect for the occupation, and I believe that professional conservators endeavor in what they think are the best interests of the work of art. But with this restoration, I can't help feeling something has been lost. Art conservation is like archaeology. It is the removal of layers of history to learn more about the past. And like archaeology, it is destructive. Once paint is removed, it can't be reapplied. I really think this painting was better before the restoration. I liked that in this work, Vermeer checked his typical heavy-handed symbolism for something more ambiguous, but it turns out I was wrong. In the 80s, the Sistine Chapel ceiling was cleaned. See, the ceiling was really dirty. It was covered in hundreds of years of soot, wax, and dust, not to mention varnish and paint from previous restorations. The Vatican decided the great painting needed the cleaning, but a lot of people weren't happy. At the time, Michelangelo was seen as a painter of form. The dark, moody colors of the Sistine were said to prefigure artists like Rembrandt. After the cleaning, the paintings didn't look like Rembrandt anymore, and the people who liked them the old way were unhappy. They said the ceiling was ruined. I always disagreed with those folks. I prefer the clean chapel. But today, I get where they were coming from. I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, please like and subscribe. If you really liked it, check out our Patreon. The flooding has really set us back, but we will try to post new videos as soon as we can. And if there are any of our viewers in the Dresden area who go to see Johannes Vermeer on Reflection, please let us know what you think. I am incredibly jealous of anyone who is able to see this show. And to the Gemäldegalerie Alte Meister, if you want to take the show to the East Coast of America, you get my money. Thanks again, hope to see you soon.